Hello and welcome. You're watching Market Express and I'm your host Himakshi Bahugna. Now let's get straight into the show. Viewers, benchmarks end flat with a negative bias. The Nifty remains below the 23,000 mark, whereas the Sensex is below 75,750 levels. Broader markets continue to outperform. Sectoral indices end mixed. Nifty, bank, IT, pharma and private banks end with cuts. On the other hand, metals, media, auto, PSU banks and realty strengthen. Speaking of the auto index reverses losses during the day to end higher. The index gains over 260 points with heavyweights M&M, iShares gaining the most. The Nifty FMCG index is down for the 14th straight trading session, marking its longest losing streak on record. The 14-day fall has wiped out 2.7 lakh crore in investor wealth, indicating that the rally post the union budget announcements with regards to personal income tax was short-lived. The focus shifts back to weak demand and margin pressures, while the cigarette major ITC has witnessed the steepest fall of 77,600 crore in the last 14 sessions. Hindustan Unilever has seen its market capitalization decline by 64,500 crore during the same period to 5.2 lakh crore rupees. Other consumer companies like the Nestle India and Varun Beverages have lost 12,400 crore and 30,000 crore respectively. Maruti Suzuki share price declines 2.25% after the company released its new mid-term management plan. The plan, which outlines growth targets and significant investments in electric vehicles and other alternative fuel technologies, appeared to have a mixed reception from the investors. The company's new 5-year plan aims to achieve sales of 25.4 lakh cars by fiscal 2030. A key component of this strategy is a significant shift towards environmental friendly vehicles, with the company projecting that EVs, hybrids and CNG vehicles will account for 75% of its total sales volume by FY30. Petcoke prices rise to 11-month high, up to 17% to $115 per ton. Some concerning factors point towards more pain towards the paint space. Factors like spiking Chinese demand for US petcoke, currency depreciation adds to the woes. The impact of higher petcoke would reflect from Q1 FY26, whereas the regional sensitivity to petcoke surge that generally forms 55% of fuel mix. NHPC stock jumps after CLSA upgrades the stock to high conviction outperform and hikes the target to 117 rupees. The company's decadal green growth is validated by FY24 to FY29 regulations. CLSA hails the gaining share in hydro and new faster growth avenues, says the clean energy green stock is set to deliver. CLSA believes that the stock could double in 4 years. In Bernstein's note on quick service restaurants, the brokerage firm says that 2025 will be a turnaround year against a tough 2024. Bernstein expects consumer demand to pick up gradually in the first half and materially in the second half of 2025. The gross margins are likely to be range-bound. Bernstein expects Domino's and KFC to continue aggressive growth. On the other hand, McDonald's performance will be relatively calibrated. Adani Group, in its Q3 FY25 portfolio performance, achieves highest ever trailing 12 months EBITDA of 86,789 crore rupees. The company's trailing 12-month EBITDA jumps 10.1% year-on-year. Adani Group's core infrastructure businesses account for 84% of total EBITDA. Remember, Adani Group's core infra business includes utility, transport, incubating infra businesses, Adani Enterprises. Jefferies is bullish on the capital goods space, expects L&T, BHEL to drive order flow growth. The Q3 order flow in the sector rises 34% year-on-year, powered by L&T and BHEL. Defense order flows fall 79% year-on-year on high base. Power and defense have the highest visibility ahead. Jefferies believes that double-digit growth should continue. Pick Siemens, Thermax, L&T and HAL as the top picks. JP Morgan maintains an overweight stance on Cyient with a target of 1,750 rupees. JP Morgan believes that the company's new external CEO announcement augurs well for the company. Sukamal Banerjee, the new external CEO, faces an viable turnaround task ahead. The CEO needs to upgrade Cyient portfolio from project-based deals to longer-term annuity deals. JP Morgan believes Banerjee will need to rework the guidance process to prevent missing guidance again or avoid. HSBC upgrades Tata Power to hold from reduce, hikes the target to 345 rupees from 300 rupees. HSBC says that Tata Power is improving execution amidst weak macro. Weak power demand, the pace of both PPA signing and DISCOM privatization and project execution drives the stock correction. Morgan Stanley has mixed views on chemical space. The chemical sector witnesses contrasting trends in Q3. Fluorine and diversified chemicals outperformed commodity or agrochemical names. FY26 beckons with harder plant runs and expanded capacity and operating leverage versus FY25. BCL Industries bags orders for ethanol supply tender from oil marketing companies. The company will supply 23,054 kiloliter ethanol for 135 crore rupees. Ethanol to be produced from FCI rice. Vari Energies gains 4% on the back on order win from NG India arm. The order win is for the supply of solar modules for 362.5 megawatt power. The supply of the solar modules will commence in FY 2025 to 26. The company current order book is 26.5 gigawatt for 50,000 crore rupees. JBM Auto receives a tender of 5,500 crore rupees for the execution of 1,021 electric buses and civil infra. JBM's electric buses to be deployed in around 19 cities. The order will be executed in 12 to 18 months. Servotech Renewable enters new partnership with French company Watt & Well. The deal is to develop and make EV charger parts in India. The company will manufacture power modules in India, whereas Watt & Well will provide full technical support. Travel Software as a Service or SaaS company rate gains travel surges on announcing a partnership with Nok Air. Nok Air is a leading budget airline in Thailand. It offers services to bolster pricing strategies via its advanced AI-powered pricing intelligence platform Airgain. Jefferies maintains buy rating on IGL with a target price of 252 rupees. Low-cost LNG feedstock sourcing improves margins and volume outlook. The brokerage firm believes that the APM gas availability is manageable and 2 rupees per kilogram hike is enough to protect margins. The IT sector, one of the largest white-collar employers, brace for a tough appraisal session. IT sector is traditionally the most sought-after job provider in India. In the recent past, has not been able to provide competitive salary hikes as it sees slowdown in business growth. Since FY21, annual pay hikes given by the top IT companies that are Tata Consultancy Services, Infosys, HCL Tech and Wipro have largely remained in single digits and have further dipped after COVID. Data sourced from market intelligence firm Anardhan Site shows that TCS is reportedly set to roll out annual pay hikes in the range of 4 to 8% for the year, which is less than its usual average hike rate of 8% every year. Similarly, Infosys too will be rolling out 6 to 8% salary hikes for Indian employees, while overseas employees will get even lower single-digit increases. Google Pay, one of India's dominant digital payment platforms, starts imposing a convenience fee on bill payments made with credit and debit cards. This marks a shift that ends the era of free transactions for millions of users paying for essential services like power and gas. According to Google Pay's website, the newly introduced fee ranges from 0.5% to 1% of the transaction value, in addition to the applicable goods and services tax. However, transactions made directly through UPI-linked bank accounts remain unaffected. The change follows Google Pay's earlier decision to impose a 3 rupees convenience fee on mobile recharges over a year ago. Apple Inc. Introduced a new low-end smartphone called the iPhone 16e, priced at $599, aiming to revive growth after a sluggish holiday season. This phone goes on sale on February 28 and will cost around $170, more than $429 iPhone SE that it replaces. The new iPhone 16e comes with more upgrades over its predecessor, regards to the processor, display, build quality, security, and more. The government inks contracts are worth more than 10,000 crore rupees with defense entities for procurement of area denial munition type 1 and high explosive rockets with enhanced range for Pinaka multiple launch rocket systems, seeking to enhance India's army firepower capabilities. The cyclical slowdown in India is bringing significant uncertainty for investors. This is what Trin Nguyen, senior economist of the Natixis, had to say on the current market outlook. In an exclusive conversation, Nguyen adds that a healthy correction is expected if the government ensures that the slowdown is temporary. She highlights the opportunity for India to start diversifying exports and expect RBI to continue to support liquidity conditions. BJP MLA-elect Rekha Gupta, a first-time MLA from Shalimar Bagh, was sworn in as the fourth woman Chief Minister of Delhi at a mega event at Ramleela Maidan. The BJP formed the government in Delhi after 27 years. Party MLAs Parvesh Verma, Ashish Sood, Manjinder Singh Sirsa, Ravi Rajendra Singh, Kapil Mishra and Pankaj Kumar Singh also took oath as ministers. Speaking exclusively to NDTV Profit, MP Chief Minister Mohan Yadav said that the state's new industrial policy will pave the way for investment and there will be an industrial revolution in the state, adding that MP is among the fastest growing states, growing at a double-digit rate. He further urged investment in Madhya Pradesh because it has robust infrastructure and skilled people. The Supreme Court stays a Lokpal's order that said that it has jurisdiction to probe High Court judges, calling the development disturbing. It has also issued notice to the centre, the Lokpal office and the complainant before the Anti-Corruption Ombudsman. Ministry of Information and Broadcasting urges over-the-top platforms to strictly adhere to age-based classification of content on platforms and comply with it with IT Rules 2021. This comes on the heels of controversy surrounding content creator Ranveer Alabadia. President Trump attacks Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, calling him a dictator and deepening the rift between the two leaders. The comments came after Zelensky's reaction to US-Russia talks in Saudi Arabia, from which Kiev was excluded. Speaking at an FII forum in Florida, Trump said that the only thing Zelensky was really good at was playing Joe Biden like a fiddle. US President Donald Trump once again questions the United States' decision to allocate $21 million for voter turnout efforts in India, alleging that the country was trying to get somebody else elected. Indian cricket team starts their Champions Trophy campaign today by playing against Bangladesh. Rohit Sharma leads the team, having three spinners playing in Dubai International Stadium. The Bengal Tigers have won the toss and decided to bat first. Well, with that, it's a wrap on Market Express. Stay tuned to NDTV Profit. There's more lined up ahead.
Let me throw a few numbers out there just to set the context for this. At the end of January, you had the mutual fund industry that had assets under management of over 67 lakh crore rupees. About 30 lakh crore rupees were under actively managed equity mutual fund schemes. If you add hybrids to that, that's another about 8 lakh crore rupees. If you add index funds and ETFs, that's another 10 lakh crore rupees. It's a very substantial amount of money. But if you think about it, there are about 5 crore unique investors that are putting money into equity mutual fund schemes. So, as I said at the start of the day today, the industry is just about scratching the surface. Where does it go from here? And what does that picture hold, not just for the industry, but of course, for the individual investor and for the country at large? Joining me on this panel, a very august gathering, and I would go so far as to say that they control a very substantial portion of that 67 lakh crore rupees. We've got Mr. Navneet Munot, who is Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of HDFC AMC and the Chairman of AMFI. We've got Radhika Gupta, who is Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Edelweiss Mutual Fund. We've got Swaroop Mohanty, who is Vice Chairman, Chief Executive Officer of Mirai Asset, and Nilesh Shah, who is the Managing Director of Kotak Mahindra AMC. I didn't really need to introduce you, but I had to, if you think about it. Let me start, Radhika, with you. Mutual Fund Sahi Hai is a campaign that was incredibly successful, and it's got us to this point. The question is, what next? Because you need that next fillip to add the next 5 crore and the next 20 crore.
So thank you, Alex, for having us. I think, the fact that you're having a panel as NDTV Profit on Viksit Bharat, and you're talking to eminent leaders from corporate India about CapEx, about AI, about so many important things. And mutual fund is a part of that, and our role in Viksit Bharat itself is a sign of victory for this industry. So I'm very happy that this agenda is there. And, I'm wearing a Mutual Fund Sahi Hai brooch right now, but I really do think Mutual Fund Sahi Hai doesn't get enough credit as a landmark campaign. Because in which industry, in which part of the world, do you have people who compete ferociously for business coming back together to collaborate and pool money, assets, probably about 600 crores that goes to AMFI, and then what we spend in our individual capacity for industry growth. So I think the campaign is a case study in the making. You said 5 crore investors. I said this in another context. I think when we talk about Viksit Bharat, we should dream of a world with 75 crore investors. We should dream of a world where 40 to 50% of India's population then is a beneficiary of the mutual fund story. So it's from mutual fund sahi hai to mutual fund sabke liye hai. And I think one of the greatest victories of mutual fund is from a 100 rupee investor and now 250 rupee SIP to a 250 crore investment. We treat everyone the same. So I think the aspirations of the industry are now getting larger and larger. And as we look at Viksit Bharat, we should really talk about 75 crore investors. Our team did some interesting analysis. So if you look at households in India, our penetration in upper income is about 50%. In middle income is about 40%. In lower income is 20%. And of course, in super lower income is much lower. In every strata of the household, we actually have substantial room to grow. And I always say that 75 crore looks like a large number, but it's not. Because you have 50 crore people who are paying 100 rupees a month to Netflix and Amazon Prime today. Why can't they start a 250 rupee SIP?
It's a good question. Navneet, as the chairperson of AMFI, I'm coming to you next. Of course, you had these conversations and probably around the 250 rupee SIP as well. Is that the next big flagship?
So as Radhika mentioned that after all the hard work of Mutual Fund Sahi Hai that you talked about, delivering a track record over 30 years, the technology, the way we have leveraged, the amount of efforts we are putting on making this industry as transparent as possible, making the products as simple and accessible as possible, still there are 53 million, 5.3 crore investors, and we have a long, long way to go. And I think that's where I think reduction in the minimum amount where a person can access a product which is so affordable, so accessible, and so simple to participate in the growth story of India. So when India becomes a Viksit Bharat, a developed country by 2047, the endeavor at our end is to ensure that fruits of this growth reach every single household of the country, every single household of the country. And all of us in AMFI have been working very hard over the last several years. In fact, you use the word that the Mutual Fund Sahi Hai campaign, I would say Mutual Fund Sahi Hai commitment. It is not only a campaign, it's a commitment from all of us to ensure that this is really a Sahi product for every investor in the country. At the same time, because your title is the blueprint for Viksit Bharat 2047, we all talk about how are we going to ensure that growth is inclusive and we reach out to many people through the SIP. But the other side of the role that we are playing, I think that gets lesser attention. I mean, since April 2021 till January, mutual funds have invested more than 9 lakh crore rupees in the market, both across primary and secondary. Now imagine the amount of capital the role we are playing in the capital formation. Look at the participation we have across all asset classes, across all products. So right from the overnight repo market, Nilesh Bhai and I have been a bond trader. So right from an overnight market to a commercial paper to certificate of deposit to short-term bonds to long-term bonds to REITs
Yes.
to InvITs to the equity market, everywhere the participation we have, which is aiding to the growth of the country, I think that's a much bigger role. The job creation that we do, I think that also needs to be talked about.
That was going to be my second point. I wanted to, but let me quickly get your view very quickly on the next leg, right? Because I'm trying to understand as an industry as a whole, ultimately you're trying to capture or bring more people into the fold. Right now you have several investors that have come to the fold already, and there are few very large investors, so therefore the numbers look large. Of course you're getting more and more retail investors every day. Quick answers, where do you both think the next leg of growth for the industry will come from? And I do want to talk next about what you've just spoken about, Navneet. I'll come back to that.
So Alex, I disagree that we have got big fishes and we have got a lot of money. In FY21 to FY23, 3 years, people have put more money in currency notes than what they have invested in mutual fund. I still have to convince Alex that Alex bhai, आप जो पैसा करेंसी नोट घर पे रखे हैं,
सर मेरे पास कुछ नहीं है।
झाड़ सर आपको पता नहीं, एक बार घर में जाके देखिए फिर पता चलेगा। ये डिमोनेटाइजेशन के टाइम पे कितने लोगों को घर से पैसे निकले। तो आई हैव टू स्टिल कन्विंस एलेक्स भाई कि भैया जो पैसे आपने करेंसी नोट्स घर पे रखे उसके झाड़ नहीं उगेंगे, म्यूचुअल फंड में डाल दो, हो सकता है थोड़े दिनों के लिए नुकसान सहन करना पड़ेगा, बट यहीं पे पैसा बनेगा। I still have to go and convince investors who are buying lottery. The day when lottery buyer starts making money, the business of lottery will shut down.
Yeah.
But in India's most intelligent state, most educated state, people are buying lotteries hand over fist.
True.
The total equity assets in that state has barely touched their annual lottery buying.
You're talking about the state that I'm from. I understand what you're saying. So,
Alex bhai, I still have to forget your state. Let's talk about my own state, Maharashtra. I still have to go to Mira Road and convince people that Tours is not the best place to invest.
Right.
You have to invest with mutual fund because mutual fund sahi hai. So we have a long way to go. I haven't yet reached the surface.
Okay.
बजट भाषण सुना, उसके बाद मेरा पहला एक्रोनिम निकाला मैंने, वो था RRR, रिस्पॉन्सिबल, रिफॉर्मिस्ट, और मैंने कहा रिवॉल्यूशनरी। हाउ डिड यू अराइव एट दिस नंबर ऑफ 12 लाख रुपीस?
हमें लगता है टैक्स पेयर उस लेवल नंबर से टैक्स भर रहा है, क्या उनको हम कुछ कर सकते हैं?
प्राइवेट सेक्टर कैपेक्स अभी तक वो इन्वेस्ट क्यों नहीं कर रहे हैं, जबकि आपका इकोनॉमिक सर्वे ही बताता है कि वो कैश पाइल पे बैठे हुए हैं।
अगर कंजम्पशन बढ़ता और उसके तहत लगता है कि ग्रेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट का पॉसिबिलिटी है, वो भी अच्छा ट्रिगर हो सकता है।
AI बहुत तेज़ी से आ रहा है, तो जॉब के चैलेंजेस होंगे, स्किल के चैलेंज पहले से हैं, तो जो ट्रांजिशन पीरियड का स्ट्रगल है, नौकरी मुझे अभी चाहिए।
पूरे साल का एक्सपोजर दिलाने के लिए हम इंटर्नशिप प्रोग्राम ले आए और इसके साथ साथ इस बजट में भी ट्रेनिंग फॉर AI इसके लिए सेंटर्स बनाए हैं।
This entire special package and measures are kind of focused on AI skilling and how to sort of facilitate the AI centers which is existing at this point of time.
Now a center of excellence in artificial intelligence for education will be set up with a total outlay of 500 crores.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What's the picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know your company, powered by NDTV Profit's research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers. Know your company at 11:30 a.m. Monday through Friday, only on NDTV Profit.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What's the picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know your company, powered by NDTV Profit's research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers. Know your company at 11:30 a.m. Monday through Friday, only on NDTV Profit.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
Sources telling us is that government is expected to provide a roadmap of the next phase of national monetization pipeline where they are going to...
The markets closed flat. HDFC Bank, Maruti Suzuki and Tech Mahindra are the top losers in the Nifty. The mid and small caps rally. The Nifty Auto snaps an 8-day losing streak. Led by its infrastructure businesses, the Adani Group portfolio delivers the highest ever operating profit of 86,789 crore rupees. US President Donald Trump says the Biden administration was trying to get someone else elected and that the $21 million grant earmarked for voter turnout was for regime change in India. Get ready to pay a convenience fee for using Google Pay to pay utility bills. The charges will apply to debit and credit card payments ranging from 0.5 to 1%. Maruti Suzuki's parent, Suzuki Motors, expects to export more and sell fewer cars in India in the next 5 years. The car maker says competition is intense, but it expects to retain the dominant market share. Rekha Gupta sworn in as the 4th woman Chief Minister of Delhi at a mega event at Ram Leela Maidan with 6 other cabinet ministers. Donald Trump calls Ukraine's President Zelensky a modestly successful comedian and a dictator without elections and says he was only good at playing Biden like a fiddle. This attack comes after Ukraine President Zelensky accused Trump of falling for Russian disinformation. ICC Champions Trophy Day 2 and a big one for India. Bangladesh wins toss and elects to bat against India in Dubai. Hello. Hello and welcome. A very warm good evening. This is Profit 360 on NDTV Profit and I'm your host Malika Mishra. Along the next half an hour, we will bring you the latest on markets as well as national and international news. To begin with, benchmarks end flat with a negative bias. The Nifty continues to reel under the 23,000 mark, whereas Sensex falls over 200 points. Indices closed lower, pressured by losses in banking, IT and pharma sectors. Auto, metal and media emerged as winners with gains up to 1.5%. Nifty declined 19 points, whereas Sensex fell 203 points. Mid and small caps shine today. Agam is joining us with a complete market roundup.
It's turned out to be an uneventful weekly options expiry for the Nifty 50. Even as we see the index continue to consolidate, it's a flat day of trade for the benchmark and a 0.5% cut for the Bank Nifty. These are the two crucial indices in which we haven't seen as much traction coming in. But let's move on and talk about the heat map, the Nifty heat map, to tell you how things have in fact panned out through the course of the day. So while the market breadth remains positive for the Nifty 50 as well as the market as a whole, we have seen declines in HDFC Bank, Maruti Suzuki and Tech Mahindra, along with something like HCL Technologies and ITC, weighing down on the index. On the other hand, among gainers, we have something like a Shriram Finance, NTPC and M&M continuing to advance and give some strength to the benchmark, and which is why we're seeing the benchmark remain largely flat. But if you move on and take a look at